My name's Leanne Mattu. I'm doing a PhD at the School of Interdisciplinary Studies, which is on the Dumfries campus. It's called Farm Visits and the Scottish Primary School Curriculum. So I'm really just looking at how you can use an educational farm visit for primary school kids, how you can link that with particularly the bits of the curriculum that talk about food and farming, but also where the links are in other areas of the curriculum for primary school level. To me, it was always very much a project that was about providing useful information for teachers currently working in classrooms that they could use then kind of in their future planning and their future teaching. It's funded by a charity called Mains of Lauriston, who are involved in kind of funding research and other projects to do with agriculture education in Scotland. And what they wanted really from the project, as well as the thesis, was to get guidance for teachers and for farmers about how they might do educational farm visits. What has really been coming out of the findings that I have so far, and I still have a lot of analysis to do, but what I've noticed coming out is things to do with particularly teacher training. There's a big emphasis in Curriculum for Excellence on teachers being able to use the outdoors and really incorporating that as much as possible, so that children have got opportunities to get outdoors to do a lot of learning that way rather than just being in the classroom all the time. And I think teachers themselves and the teacher education institutions in Scotland are really taking that on board and trying to push it. But a lot of teachers just don't seem to be aware that a farm visit is something they can do. Teacher education institutions in Scotland are trying to increase the amount of outdoor stuff that they do for trainee teachers, but nobody that I know of is formally making a point of taking teachers out to farms. And because I have found that teachers can link an educational farm visit with pretty much everything, I think it would be really useful if teachers could be made aware at quite an early stage of the possibilities of farm visits. One other thing that I think is coming out quite strongly about the age of children that go to an educational farm visit. Most of the responses that I had to my survey, and actually in my case studies as well, have been children of about primary 2, primary 3, so that's kind of 6 or 7 years old, and they're the ones that seem to be going out to the farm as a matter of course. And that makes sense because that's the part of the Scottish curriculum now where the kind of learning about where their food comes from fits in, so that's a perfectly sensible time to do it. But then you do have some queries around what they're actually getting out of that, particularly children that are not used to a farm environment. Are they just so blown away by the size and scale of it that they can't take in an awful lot of the information? And I don't think I would go so far as to say don't take them at the kind of primary 2, primary 3 age. I think I would be tending towards take them at that age, but actually look very seriously at trying to work it in to a later stage of their primary schooling as well. I did have case studies with older primary school kids, so kind of primary 6, primary 7, and those teachers were doing topics about things like sustainability and renewables and science topics that included things about fertilisers. So there are ways that a farm visit can be relevant to children and to the curriculum at the later stage of primary school as well. I think it probably does, in that because I'm very much looking at it from an outdoor learning point of view, and there is a big emphasis on outdoor learning and interdisciplinarity and children being able to learn from their own local environment. That does seem to be much more of an emphasis on that in Curriculum for Excellence than it was previously. The feedback that I'm getting from the teachers that took part in interviews and so on, they have tended to feel that they are using the outdoors more. I mean, farm visits have been going for years, it's not a brand new thing, but I certainly think because there is this push for getting outdoors more and doing things in a more interdisciplinary way, I certainly think a farm visit is a good response to that. The Dumfries campus it's the School of Interdisciplinary Studies is the part of the University of Glasgow that's based there, but it's a shared campus. So there's also Dumfries and Galloway College and SRUC and University of the West of Scotland all on the campus as well, and it's a lot of shared facilities, and it's a shared library and so on. It's a very, very pretty campus, very green and leafy, and there's a good mix of people there as well, because there are people obviously from Glasgow. The School of Interdisciplinary Studies does a lot of kind of environmental and sustainability stuff. There's a lot of kind of eco-poetry and different sorts of literature stuff happening there. Various things, there's people doing things like end-of-life studies and kind of healthcare type of things there as well. So it really is, it's very interdisciplinary. There's a lot of different things going on there. These people are all in a shared building, they all do work together, they all do socialise together, as well as with the other groups that are on the campus. So it's a really, really nice place to be. Probably the thing that's had the biggest laugh has actually been my use of some software that I was using to try and help with the transcription of my interviews and focus groups, where it was voice recognition, so I was speaking what was coming up and it was supposed to appear on the screen, and what I said was, the school have a farm that's in walking distance, and what came up on the screen was, the school have a farm let's in Walking Dead. I can confirm I have not been to any zombie farms.